Hey, hello everybody out there. How you doing? This is Tony from Six String Corner, and I'm glad to have you here. Sorry, it took a little bit of a delay getting this thing going, so I do apologize for a little late start. Those of you who are live, hey, welcome. I'm glad to see you here. This is a Six String Corner where we teach and show you how to play guitar and how to have fun with the guitar, how to have enjoyment with it. And today we're going to cover an Eagles song. Eagles are one of my favorite bands, as you may have already figured out. I was going to cover this one my last live lesson. I promised I would come back and do this next one. So I am honoring that promise and going to cover the song New Kid in Town by the Eagles. Now, there's some great electric guitar work on there. We're not going to cover that in this lesson. This one's strictly about just playing on the acoustic. So, if you're just sitting around, you want to learn how to strum this song, somebody sitting around who can sing it, maybe, or maybe you can sing it yourself. That's what this is about, is to try and get the strums down and so you can play this song and just have a lot of fun with it. So that's what we're going to do today. This song has got a fairly simple strum pattern to it. And but if you listen to the studio version versus some live versions, or if you watch them on YouTube, the strumming is different. Glenn Fry does it live. I'm assuming he's doing it on the studio version. I really don't know who actually did the acoustic guitar on there. But hey, Steve, how you doing, man? I don't know who played it, but live Glenn Fry did it, and he strums it differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the live, probably get more into the live version because it's much simpler strum than what's on the studio version, which isn't really difficult in itself. But I just want to make that little advanced notice that if you hear it on the studio version, it may not be exact because live they always did it different. I can't find any recording where they didn't do what I'm going to show you how to play it. And since we're live and we're not studio people, this is the way I'm going to show it to you. All right. So the big thing here too is going to be about moving chords around while you're strumming, and I'm going to focus on that while we're learning the song, because I know that that's a big struggle for a lot of people out there, is learning how to. Hey, thanks, Steve. Thank you. A lot of people are struggle on moving the chords, like you're strumming, and I got to get to that next chord on the beat, right? And it can oftentimes be a little awkward, and it can get really, really super frustrating to get from one to the other. So there are some techniques, there are techniques that one can learn in order to improve that and get better at it. But regardless of how you're learning, you always want to learn slow, right? You always want to go slow with everything. Try, especially if you're new at something, if it's new at a solo, new in that song, or strumming a song, that you want to be able to start slow, work on it slow, and then build your speed up. All right. I do that even now with lead guitar. I'm always starting slow and then I work my way up. So that's what I'm after. And that's kind of what we're going to do here in this lesson here, is we're going to play it slow and then we're going to work our way up. Some of the chords on here might be a little difficult. We are going to be using bar chords. Bar chords. Yes, we're going to use bar chords, man, because bar chords are required in at least the first part of the song. Now, we could also possibly use a capo to make that easier, but in the song, there's another thing called a modulation, which is essentially a fancy word for a key change. The key change means we have to play the chords a lot differently. There's a different set of chords because we're singing in a different song key. That key change is actually really, really super easy. And if we put a capo, then that's going to be really hard. So it's 6 half dozen of the other. So anyway, we're going to talk about the chord changes. Now, in the link below, I have a thing called the chronic chord condition. And what that is it's a free PDF, just a few pages on there, and it goes over 4 basic techniques that you can use to learn how to move from one chord to another while you're strumming, while you're playing lots of songs, regardless of what song it is. And I think that'll help you a lot if you can latch onto that PDF. Just go on and get it. Hi, Ruth. Thanks for stopping by. Just jump on there and just go ahead and get that, grab that PDF. You have to, you join into the community when you do it, because I got all kinds of other things that could be free to you to help you out. But yeah, go get that. Grab that PDF and have it with you so that you can learn a couple of techniques that I'm kind of going to show you here. Now, as in this is a live lesson, and I'm going to stop talking a little bit and get to the playing, but I've only got a limited time here. I know everybody wants to watch the debate. So anyway, whatever. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just kind of go through this kind of quickly, describe a couple of techniques that I'm going to use. And if you get that PDF down below, it'll also show you how to utilize those. Okay, so let's get started. All right. So this song, I'm going to go over some of the chords in this song. There's going to be two halves to it because I said there's a key change. So the first part of the key change revolves around the E chord. And so we're going to be using this E right here. All right. And then there's going to be this F sharp minor. Yikes, there is a bar chord. That's where we got a bar on the 2nd fret. And we bring the ring finger up to the 4th fret on the 5th string. Now I'm going to use numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just keep that in mind. So the ring finger is going to be on the 4th fret on the 5th string, and the little finger is going to be on the 4th fret on the 4th string. Okay, and then you bar, and you're going to play that whole thing there. So yes, yikes, here's a bar chord. All right, and then you're going to go. There's going to be a B. Oh my gosh, here's another bar chord. Right? Yes. There's going to be some bar chords we're going to have to play around with here in the first part of the song. All right, so so this B here is where we bar the ring finger on the 4th fret, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string like this. And then the pointer finger is not barring anything. It's just pressing on the 2nd fret on the 5th string, just like that. All right, and we're going to be picking the middle strings when we do that. So we're going to go F sharp minor, and then there's going to be a B. So now if you've got to work at that, that's something that on the side, I'm not going to spend time working on, talking about working on bar chords. I can maybe make that a different lesson. If you want one, leave a comment below and just let me know if this is something you'd like me to focus on, bar chords. But make sure those bar chords sound clear. All right, so we're going to go with those two chords there. And there's also going to be an A, okay, just like that. Back to that B. And then the E. And then there's also going to be a C sharp minor. All right. This is going to be right here. Up, point your fingers on the, what is that? The 4th fret on the 5th string. And on the 6th fret, you're going to put the B, the ring finger right there, and the little finger right there on the 3rd and 4th strings. And then on the 2nd string, on the 5th fret, that middle finger plays, but the pointer finger is barring the 1st and the 5th string. Okay, so that's called a C sharp minor. All right, and then we're going to go to an F sharp. Now this is the same thing as the F sharp major, except you put the middle finger down on the 3rd fret. Still barring. It sounds a little different. So that's what you're going to want to do. All right. So those are the chords that we're going to go over for this part of the song, and then I'm going to jump ahead into the key change. All right, because basically the song repeats these chord progressions. So now there are two strumming versions, and I'm just going to use the E chord first to demonstrate the different chord, the different strumming patterns that are used. If you listen to the studio version, a lot of this is going on here. This is bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. So there's a lot of that in the studio version. On the live version, it's easy. So that's how the strum goes when they play it live. We're going to focus it on that because that'll make more sense if you're playing it in person, especially if somebody's singing it. I think the other way is good if, you know, it worked in the studio, but they never recreated that strumming pattern. So they had a reason. So we're going to do it the easy way. So, so the way we do this, and that strum is pretty much most of the song. So it's a, and then we go from this F sharp minor, just 2 downs, and then the A, B, E. All right, and then it repeats. Back to A, B, E. All right, and then oh, there is another chord here, and transitions into the chorus. All right, this is another bar chord. I know, sorry. This is G sharp sus4. Pointer finger bars the entire 4th fret. Ring finger is up here on the 6th fret on the 5th string. And then we skip one there to the 3rd string on that same fret and put our little finger. And then it goes, it's just one time. And then we lift the little finger up and put the middle finger right here on the 5th fret on the 3rd string. So it goes like that. And that's how you do that. So that actually comes at the end of the verse. So, old friend, I'm not going to sing it because it sings way too high. Even your old friends like something new. All right, and then we go into the chorus. So now, as far as chord changing techniques, the thing is there's really not a lot of the techniques you can use in the very beginning here. Unless we use we play this E major like this, which might not be a bad idea. Instead of playing it this way, we play it with this, with our little finger, ring in the middle. And then you slide these 2 fingers. This is a technique, a slide and a common pattern, which means these 2 stay in this pattern and they go up 1 fret. I'm sorry, 2 frets. And then you bar it. So you're only going to move this finger here. So you can go from E, keep these fingers together as they slide over 2 frets, staying on the same strings, and then come down and bar it with your pointer finger. And then when you play the B, you're kind of keeping this pointer finger the same place. You just kind of drop it a little bit. And all this finger doing is just sort of dropping, okay, to that B. Now the A to B, I did it this way. Yeah, that's just A. We're just playing 2 bars there. So I'm just bringing this finger up, jumping it up, playing the B, and then back to the E. And then when I go back to that E, this pointer finger is common on this string, and I just drop it back and play the E like that, if you want to do it that way. Or you can go back to this E. So that part is kind of, there's not a lot of techniques. I know I promised you, and it is coming. I'm going to show you some techniques here. So the chorus is what we're going to do. We're going to start on some techniques here. So the chorus is, the Johnny Come Lately, New Kid in Town. So on the studio version, the acoustic is really buried if it's even there at all. But live, it's just going down, down, up, down, up, and then go to the next chord. And this is that C sharp minor to the F sharp. So now what you notice here is that if you've learned these chords at all, these types of bar chords, is that the shape of the fingers is very similar. It's just that you jump up 1 set of strings and then you're over, but you're keeping the fingers in that shape. And that's what you want to do for a lot of these bar chords. It's actually for a lot of different kind of chords, but especially for the bar chords like this, if you can keep that shape and then drop it here, you're already halfway there at home there. You don't have to kind of reform it, because that takes time and you're never going to get it set when you get to that beat. So what I'm doing here is just holding that shape, the exact shape, and I'm coming up, and then I just go up. As I'm moving, I'm just going up to the lower string so I can get all 6. Very similar, and then bring it back. So if you watch this in real time, just watch the left hand. And if you notice, I don't lift my fingers up very high off. You don't want to be, all right, that kind of sloppy playing. So when you're changing your chords, the vast majority of the time, you don't want to lift your fingers too far off those strings. You want to just go a little bit. And especially if you're holding the same pattern, you keep it up and then you switch over and you go to that F sharp and then back. Now that could be applied. It's not even just bar chords. And I'm going to show you when we get to the key change how this will apply to normal chords. But it's the same idea. It's just called a common pattern. And we just hold our fingers in that common pattern. It could be 1, 2, 3, or all 4 fingers. In this case, it's all 4, and we move here. So when we're playing it, we're just going, and we do it 3 times. All right, and then the closing part is, but don't let them down. So we get to this F sharp. I'm sorry. All right. All they're doing is they're taking that F sharp and they're dropping it to a minor. So really all you're doing is just holding that position and just lifting the middle finger up. You're giving the middle finger. No. So then you just drop that and just raise the middle finger, and then now you're playing that F sharp minor. Still all 6 strings. So and then there's B7. Now I could play it like this, but if we wanted to stay continuous here, we can stay in the same area and just drop our fingers down. We're holding these 2 fingers right here, these 2 fingers right here, in that same position as we drop down 1 set of strings. Now we're going to still bar this B7. We're going to skip the G and go to the B string with that little finger, and now we're playing a B7. So you see how I did that? So so in the bar chord, again, we're going this, and then going F sharp minor, and then keep the pointer and the ring the same here. Don't release and just reform that chord. You're just going to drop down 1 set of strings. The little finger is almost the same thing too, but it just drops down a little bit further, and then when you rebar it. All right. So if I play that chorus, and I'm not going to sing because I can't sing that high, but Johnny come lately, new kid in town, everybody loves you. Now here's that change, F sharp minor to B7. I really didn't move my finger too much here, the pointer finger, so I'm pretty much there. I'm already barred there too, so I'm not like lifting my hand to reform that bar. You can just keep that finger there and just sort of just drop it down. All right, and that gets you out of the chorus. And so in a nutshell, that's how it is. The verse in the chorus and even the solo that comes later is very similar to that, which is the bridge section. I'm going to show you one little thing about that bridge section that you need to pay attention to. So when we get to that bridge section, so that's the first verse and chorus. That's basically the gist of how that's played, but that's how you want to use your chords. All right. Now the bridge, the solo section is very similar to the intro. B, A, B, E. And now there's this quick thing that goes, yikes, that's a lot to change, right? So you get down from A to E. All right, so if we're going from A to E to F sharp minor back to E. Now, there's some technique that we can use here. We go from this A to the E. We want to keep these 2 fingers together because they're common to both chords. And so we keep them together. We just raise them up 1 set of strings and then form that E major. So A major. And now this is on 1 beat, so it goes quick. Bam, 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 bam. So we're playing something really fast. So A, keep them together, and then drop the pointer finger down to form your E major. And then we want to just sort of slide this finger over and then up here. So we're sliding this ring finger from the 2nd fret on the 4th string over, but then we want to just jump up really quick to the 4th fret on the fifth string, right? And then that sets you up to play. Get to this power chord. I'm sorry, bar chord. So you got to go kind of quick like this. And then when you go from this F sharp minor back to the E, you could actually just keep these fingers together and drop it over and play the E this way if you want. If you want to get there quicker, right? So it's all right. So bum 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 bum. All right, and then we've got the I'm looking at the chart here. So oh yeah, the B7 to E. So then the bridge is just going from B7 to E. Now we can play the B7 like this, but there's no rule that says you have to play the B7 the exact same way or any chord the same way through a song. You might want to play it a different way. Now in the bridge, there's so many things you should have told her. It's just going back and forth from B7 to an E major. Well, a B7 can also be played this way. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. This is out for the chord that's learned early in a lot of people. I don't know where you guys are in your playing, but B7's chord that is learned early. At least I've taught it early. So the B7 is like this here on the fifth string, pointer finger right here on the fourth string, ring fingers right here on the third string. We skip, leave the B open, and put our little finger right down here on the first string. All right, so then there we are playing that B7. Now, why do I want to play it that way? The reason I want to play it that way is because I'm going back and forth from the B7 to the E. Do you see anything common here? This middle finger is common. This note right here, which is a B note, is common to both chords. So what am I going to do? I'm going to glue this. This is a glued finger technique where I'm just going to glue that finger right there to that note. So it's going to... Now we're going over to the C sharp minor. That one, you're just going to have to do muscle memory because there's no technique for that one. You got to go from B7 to E major. All right. Actually, no, I'll take that back. B7. No, there it is. And then you have to reform and you should have hold her, and then just hold her to F sharp 7. So this one, all right. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. So we go from B7 to the E major, from the B7, and then we're playing the C sharp minor. All right, let me play that bridge out first. You can watch it, and then I'll break it down. That's the bridge. So that's why I did the B7 this way, to get to the E. But night after night, you're willing to hold her. So we're back to that. There's that C sharp minor. And then we're going to go to this thing called an F sharp 7, which is really the same as that F sharp major chord, except we're just going to lift a little finger. We still got to bar all the strings. This one could be a little difficult for you. But if you see also, I can keep these three in that same shape as I go over to make the F sharp 7. See how this? I went from here, and I'm just keeping the same position, not raising my hand too far off of the strings, just a little bit off the strings, and I drop it over here to the F sharp 7. All right, so you can use that technique. All right, and then we're going to the A minor 7. Really not much technique there. You're just going to have to just work on that. The middle finger is a little close to that. So you can just drop that. You can just slide it over on top of the strings. You don't want to hear the slide, but you just slide it on this top of the strings. And then I'm going to form this A minor 7. And then what's called an A minor 7 over D. And all that is just, without getting too technical, it's just this. Pointer finger on that first fret, and you're just strumming the last 4 strings. It's called A minor 7 over D. That's one way of playing an A minor 7 over D. There's other ways, but I think it works right here. There's tears on her shoulder, and then there's a D chord. There's a D major chord. Finally, a normal chord. This is where the key change is happening now. The key change is coming right here. All right. So primarily, what we've been doing this first half is we've been doing a lot of bar chords. Okay, so again, get your bar chords going. Get your fingers used to playing bar chords and make sure they sound clear. Anytime, and this is a caveat before I move on to the song, is that anytime you're working on your bar chords, if you're still kind of early in that, don't just strum it and think you got it, because you can be missing. You think you got it, but if you pick individual string, there might be a string that's out. So always, if you're trying to check your bar chords, don't just strum it and think you got it. You want to pick them. Like this F sharp 7 is really a difficult one to play. You want to make sure you hear all those notes. Just check that all the time. Every time you're working on these bar chords, you want to check them to make sure that they sound nice and clear. All right. So I'm just going to go through just a verse and a chorus into the bridge, just so you can hear how it goes. And then I'm going to go into the next verse where there's the key change, and they're going to be much easier chords than this one when we get to the second half of the song. So B, F sharp minor, B, A, B, E, stay on the E, and after, I'm going to sing it. F sharps, A, B, E. And there's that little transition, and then we go to the verse. This C sharp minor to the F sharp, right? So you know, watch. So I just lift the finger up to make that F sharp minor, and then I play the B7. This is the solo. B, A, B, E. Here's that fast part. Here's the bridge. E. Back to the bridge E7. C sharp minor. F sharp 7. A minor 7. A minor 7 over D, all right, and then off to the D major chord. And so that, in a nutshell, is it. I know I played it fast because I'm short on time here, but I just wanted to let you know that's how you can do it. You can always slow this. If you're on YouTube, you can always slow that down if you need to, if you're really trying to work this out. But work on those chords and go slow. Now we go into the next part of the verse, and this is what we call a modulation, fancy word for key change. And now we're going to be playing normal chords. After that D, strumming pattern is the same. Everything's the same. We're just now changing the chords. So now there's Talk on the Street. So now we're on to a G. All right, so we're on the same strumming pattern. And what are we going to do now? So we're going to go into G. All right. We're going to go to an A minor 7. So there's talk on this. So the G now becomes the E that's always played in the first half. Now G is the big one, right? On the street to A minor 7 to D. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to drop this middle finger down 1 fret here, and then drop my pointer finger here to play the A minor 7. All right, and then to a D, we just sort of drop our finger here. And then back to this C. Doesn't really matter. Now when I go from C to D, and now these are chords you're probably going to use more often, right? So now I'm going from a C, all right, to a D. Now when I go from C to D, this is a very common method. I'm going to keep these two fingers in that same sort of shape, where the ring finger is on the 3rd fret up here, and on the 5th string, and then the middle finger is on the 2nd fret on the fret below. I mean on the string below. And then I'm just going to keep those in the same position as I drop down to play the D. All right, and then I'm going to take these two fingers and keep them the same as I go to the G. It's a long way to go, but if you work on this, keep this common pattern technique, it'll take you a long way, because these chords here are more common to what you probably be playing on the acoustic anyway. So we're going away, talking away, right? B7. There's a B7. Well, the B7 is in this key. This is an easy one to transition to from the G. Keep the middle finger there as I play B. So you want to glue that finger. Great technique to use to do a chord change. Okay. All right. And then on the chorus, the acoustic keeps strumming. The guitar, the electric, you'll hear. All right, which I suppose you can do on acoustic if you want, but really the acoustic is just strumming behind this. So it's E minor 7. I'm sorry, E minor 7 to A7. So E minor 7, and then we go to an A7. And what are we doing here? So we got the E minor 7. We're doing two techniques here. This middle finger here is glued to that note because it's common to both chords. The little finger actually lifts and slides. It's another technique. If you got two notes on the same string between chords, you could just take that finger and slide it. All right, and that gets you to the A7. E minor 7. So I'm not doing this, right? I'm just going. All right. New kid in town. Everybody knows him. All right, and then there's a change in here. We go from an A7 to an A minor 7. All we do is keep the middle finger there. It doesn't change. We lift up the little finger and we put the pointer finger here on the first fret on the second string. All right, and then we're going to go to a B7. We go here. A big technique change there, and then for the B7 we go to an E major. So keep the middle finger there because that's common. And then there's this called the G minor 7. And then there's an A. So you can play the G minor 7 this way or this way. So let me play that in context. So it's where you been lately? New kid in town. Everybody loves him. They're holding her. You're still around. Cycling this over. So those are the chords that are played in the towards the end there. It's a little bit of a change, but again, those I'm focused more on the techniques. You can go back and replay this and just catch the chords that I'm playing. But I'm using a lot of what's called a glued finger technique. A glued finger technique is this: when you have between two chords a common note, if you can keep that finger glued, you can change. Like I went from the E major to the B7, right? I can keep that finger glued and it keeps me anchored there. Okay, anchored finger is another name for that. The other one's called the slide technique. If you saw when I was doing the E minor 7 to the A7, notice that I slid. You don't hear the slide. You want, all right, I'm lifting it up and I'm sliding over to play this A7. So that's a technique that you can use. It's called the slide finger technique. If you notice, I'm doing two because I'm keeping this one glued. So I'm using two techniques. All right, see how that works? And then, like I was doing the bar chords, the third technique is called the common pattern. If you have a common pattern that you can use between two chords, when you do an A minor to an E major, it's the same exact pattern. You just keep the fingers together. Don't release them and come up. Just keep them together, lift them a little bit off the string, and then come down and play that next chord. All right. So those are techniques that you can use for a lot of the chords on here, especially bar chords. Bar chords are really good for that. It's what's called the common pattern, and that you can keep them the same as you move them around, because bar chords are actually what's called movable chords. In other words, the shapes are the same all across the neck. Depending on this note here, we'll name the chord different. So since they're movable chords, you can keep them in common patterns as you move around. So it's a very powerful technique for bar chords. But even for just your regular chords here that we were doing, you can do the same thing. Like when I was going from a C to a G, I'm keeping these two middle fingers in a common pattern, and that's why I played the G like this and not like this, because I can keep it in a pattern and I can get to it quicker. All right, so that's why I did that. So those are definitely chord techniques that you can use while playing not just this song, but you can use in any song that you're playing out there. Once again, it's in the Chronic Chord Condition, which is the PDF I got down below. So go ahead and grab that. It gets more into depth on that type of thing on the strumming. And so hopefully that'll give you a little bit of insight and help you move along with it. If you got any questions about this type of thing, I realize I kind of move kind of quick because again I'm on limited on time here. We've only got so much time for streaming here. If you got any questions, you leave a comment below. I do check them both on Facebook and on YouTube. I know I'm on all of both platforms here. So just be sure to let me know if there's anything we want to know more about it, or hey, maybe can you give me a lesson on that? However you want to do that. If you're interested in private lessons online, I only do online lessons. I do have a method of doing that too. So you can just, on Facebook, you can DM me. On YouTube, I don't know if you can, but just leave me a note. We can figure out how to connect on getting you lined up with an online lesson. If you want to just try it out, see if it works. I do it for free on the first lesson. So just to see if it works for you and if it works for me. That option is there for you as well. But go ahead and grab that Chronic Chord Condition. And then hopefully, this will help your playing. Again, thank you for showing up here live. Thank you for showing up in my future, your present, for watching this and bearing through this a little bit. I do appreciate it. And I hope to see you again. I'm going to do a live lesson Wednesday next week. So in the next 2 weeks, live lesson Wednesday. I do have a couple of really cool things coming up on those as well. So stay tuned. Some more YouTube videos are coming as well. I know I got some Rush songs planned, and some Eagles and some Zeppelin and some Def Leppard I think I got lined up. I don't remember all the rest there. So I got a bunch of them lined up that are coming up on YouTube. So be sure to check out the YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, just zip on over there to Sixth String Corner. Just subscribe, get notifications of stuff that's coming up. All right. So I'd love to have you around. I love teaching and showing you guys stuff. And again, like I said, thanks for stopping by. If there's anything else you need to know, whether you're present with me now in the live or in my future, and you got something, I do check those comments. I do check the questions, and I'll be sure to do what I can to help you out. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is New Kid in Town by the Eagles, and we're going to get to some electric guitar next time, and we're going to do some rocking. So just stay tuned on that. And if you got any suggestions on what you want to learn, anything you want to see come up on this on this platform here of the live lessons, do let me know. I am very interested to hear what you guys have to say, because it isn't really about what I want to teach you. It's what you want to learn. All right. So that's always the priority. Thanks a lot for watching. And I'm going to go have some dinner. And then maybe I'll catch a little bit of the comedy show tonight. This is being filmed on the night of the third debate. Yeah, it should be fun to watch that. No, it won't be. I think I'll probably watch reruns of Gilligan's Island or something, or I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, thanks a lot for stopping by. We'll catch you later. It's Tony from Sixth String Corner. Peace out. Rock on.